It's 6:30 in the morning. Father Saju George is preparing to say Mass. His parish is in a small village south of Kolkata. Father Saju has been working in this economically depressed region for nearly 30 years. Father Saju is a Jesuit. He has a doctorate in theology and was ordained a Catholic priest in 2001. This is where he's set up a cultural center. Dancing is Father Saju's passion, a way of expressing his faith. For him, dancing is a form of prayer.
I take the technique that I have learned from Indian classical dance and music, and I use the spiritual or the philosophical content of the Bible, and I make a new choreography.
Swargasthana, God in heaven, everywhere, oh my God, my Father. You can do like this, a father, a person seated.
Father Saju performs and teaches his prayer dance all over the world. Recently, he was invited to Germany.
He's speaking Lipi.
The busy priest makes travel arrangements on his cell phone.
I need some tickets.
The invitation to Germany was from Munich. It's not just an opportunity to get to know Germany. The German Catholic Church's international missionary organization, Missio, is celebrating its 175th anniversary. Father Saju has been asked to present his biblical choreography to invited guests, including Cardinal Reinhard Marx. Missio sponsors education and training of church personnel in Africa, Oceania, and Asia. In 2003, it awarded Father Saju a scholarship.
It offers the young people a measure of security. They can pursue their studies or projects for 2 or 3 years without having to worry about earning a living at the same time. And we have the satisfaction of training men and women in theology and philosophy to be ambassadors of their local church.
Father Saju views himself as an ambassador of Indian culture and of his vocation in life to spread the Christian faith. He uses classical Indian dance to tell the story of Jesus Christ.
His dance is very expressive. He explained that it was about the suffering, death, and resurrection of Christ. So you have these images in your head. It's a form of exploring the faith in a different way. We don't express our faith like that, so it really grabs our attention. And as we watch, we see that a great deal can be expressed in dance. I think that the audience here really felt that.
Using hand gestures called mudras, Father Saju teaches the audience how to tell Bible stories.
Wonderful fish in the sea. And keep moving your thumb. It was good experience. It's wonderful, especially to do some dance movements with the people, and they're very positive. They're all trying to do it, and it was nice dancing to them.
Hamburg, Germany. The Jesuit is here to visit 2 dance teachers, Katja Shivani and Anna Grova. Both are passionate about Indian dance and have studied it professionally. They revere the great exponents of the classical tradition.
Yeah,
When they saw a video of Father Saju on the internet, they decided to invite him to Hamburg.
We were very impressed by what he said about dance, about art, about the spirituality in it, and what it means for him. It was universal and not at all dogmatic, although he's a Catholic priest. One usually thinks of priests as being less broad-minded.
The two dance teachers organized a beginner's course with Father Saju George. Here he demonstrates the first steps of the Bharatanatyam, a Hindu dance that originated in the temples of Tamil Nadu. The Jesuit expresses his Christian faith in these graceful, sculpture-like poses.
You can see he is quite charismatic. I thought it interesting that he combines various religions and wants to combine various cultural backgrounds. I think that comes across very well in the workshop.
The mental discipline, the discipline in thought and movement. No movement is spontaneous. It's all very, how should I put it, disciplined.
Also sehr diszipliniert.
Here there is a jump. No drag.
Bharatanatyam is a solo dance with two aspects: graceful feminine lines and masculine strength. It's danced by both men and women.
Now look at your. Don't. When you turn this. Now only you look up. Your head is there. Bring the hand here and up here. Yeah. Okay. That's right. That's right. Keep your.
While in Hamburg, the Indian Jesuit is invited to perform in a Lutheran church. Costumes and makeup are an integral part of the Indian dance tradition. The bindi, a red dot on the forehead, provides the final touch. It's placed at the center of the forehead, close to the eyebrows.
Putting this mark on the forehead, it is a kind of beautifying oneself, and also it's a sign of in Indian culture, red mark is a sign of purity of mind and body, and artistically this also looks a very, very attractive point.
Today, Father Saju is presenting his Holy Spirit choreography, a highly unusual performance in this Lutheran church. The Protestant spectators are fascinated by this new approach to their faith.
In a city like Hamburg, we experience a variety of cultures every day, and I personally think it's important that we try to understand each other, to talk to each other. Interreligious dialogue is very important to me, not just to talk about each other, but to learn from each other, to hear how other people express themselves and what they feel. Then I see perhaps what unites us, and also notice the differences, that it's important to respect each other as we are.
Back in India, this is where Father Saju is making his dream a reality, building up the cultural center he calls Kaladaya, which is Hindi for Heart of Art. With his reputation as a teacher, he's already attracting dancers from all over the country. The profit from these dance courses and performances is all invested in his ambitious project.
This is a new building that we built recently. This is a multi-purpose building, mostly for conducting dance, theater, music workshops or seminars. So now we are conducting a workshop, a seminar on Indian classical dance, that is Bharatanatyam.
Running the dance center requires a lot of time and energy. And organizing travel arrangements for the dance groups also takes a lot of effort. The students want expert teachers and certificates. In future, Father Saju would like to cooperate with a university. But for that, more guest housing would be needed. His former mentor thinks the 49-year-old demands too much of himself.
I don't know how much time he gets with such responsibility of building up an institution which is his passion, which is his doing work. I think what he needs is somebody who will help him all through, very confident, a confidant, you know, with whom he can share the work so that he has enough time for his dance also.
On his trips abroad, Father Saju makes lots of useful contacts. His fellow Jesuits in Switzerland, for instance, bought him this 9-seater Jeep. The keys are handed over in Kolkata, and in good Catholic tradition, the drivers and the vehicle are blessed with holy water.
We have a little more easier and smooth travel to the city, and also for the work into different places that we take our groups.
Whether they travel for business or pleasure, let them always find Christ to be the companions of their journey, who lives and reigns forever and ever. Amen.
On its maiden voyage through the narrow streets, the bright red Jeep sails over the potholes. There's a second blessing awaiting it in the village.
His graces.
Morning prayer at the cultural center the next day. Julian Lutz is from Switzerland and working as a volunteer at the dance center. He says he's attracted by the way spirituality is lived in India.
It's a completely different world. And I see a lot more tolerance here than I ever imagined.
People of all religions are welcome at Father Saju's cultural center. That is evident in the chapel he's building. It will be dedicated to Mary, the mother of Jesus.
For Hindus, mother cult or mother with child is very attractive, mother figure. So Hindus also come and pray. They don't think that it's Mother Mary, it's a Christian's goddess. And even for Muslims, Mother Mary is part of their Quranic experience.
Father Saju turns to his fellow Jesuits in Kolkata for support. He's encouraged by their enthusiasm for the direction in which he plans to develop his center.
He's also making this as a forum for dialogue. A dialogue between cultures, between religions, dialogue between people. He's able to bring European brethren to his center. Isn't that it's quite attuned with today's globalized world?
The Jesuit priest is also attuned to the needs of the poor villagers. These isolated communities are only accessible via narrow mud tracks. There's heavy rainfall in these parts, and the roads are often impassable.
Over that mud they put bricks. Now they slowly start using concrete. So therefore a slow gradual development of the passage system.
Most of the villagers here are Dalit, traditionally regarded as untouchable in the Indian caste system. Many of them have no educational opportunities. The Jesuits help them as much as they can.
We not only do the spiritual help, the spiritual nourishment, but also we give educational help. We have a school here, more than 150 years old school.
The poor people here not only lack education, often they don't even have adequate housing. Father Saju buys them basic building materials, not enough to meet all their needs, but at least to make a start.
So we cannot do a finished, furnished house. So it's only the basic support they need. So they get a hope. They need a courage to start off. Now that's what most people need. Later, slowly, they add their own. They also work, and they somehow, build. Finishing may take, say, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. That doesn't matter. But they can live. They have a roof over their head.
The priest is only able to help a few families in this way. His funds are very limited. From time to time, Father Saju is also able to provide work for the villagers. They cook in the kitchen or work in the gardens.
Okay. And the good news is that
There's very high unemployment in this region.
And awards they are giving all. But I am.
Inevitably, his flourishing cultural project in the middle of this destitute part of West Bengal also provokes resentment.
I have sometimes little problems with the local clubs, for example. Yeah, that is not anything connected with religion. That is, they want some money. So they block sometimes my work here. They simply want, have a control over what we do here.
The brand new vehicle also gives rise to envy. Lots of people here have to make do with a bicycle, fighting their way through the traffic. Father Saju already has a motorcycle license and is familiar with the problems. Learning to drive a car presents new challenges.
To drive a car in Kolkata, it is very difficult. You have to be really expert driver to do a good job in Kolkata, because the streets are congested, and now the vehicles are increasing day by day, and all kinds of vehicles are on the road, and there are no, different lanes for cycles or bicycles and tricycles.
लोग बेसी कोलकाता
After his driving lesson, Father Saju has to rush off. This evening is the opening of his dance festival in Kolkata. He hopes it will raise awareness of his cultural center. Kolkata has 4.5 million residents and is known as India's cultural capital.
The Christian Catholic newspaper about a program, Jesuit Center, to organize dance festival and seminar with our photograph.
Father Saju buys candles to welcome the guests of honor. The festival is taking place at St. Xavier's College, a Jesuit school that has served Kolkata for more than 150 years.
Black one is better.
After some delay, the lighting technicians arrive. They were held up in one of the city's legendary traffic jams. The guests will be arriving in just a few hours. There's no charge to attend. Father Saju is expecting an audience of about 500. A number of them are important dance teachers, gurus.
Especially for classical Indian dance and music and arts, the teacher-student relationship is very important. We call it a Guru-Kula system or Guru-Shishya system. So we are like their children, they are like our parents, they are like our preceptors, or we emulate them. No, they are the people who we look up to for the learning of arts as well as for our life. Some of them, they are our philosophers and guides.
The dancers know what's at stake. It's the future of Father Saju's center, just 20 kilometers from here. This evening, they're performing for Kolkata's cultural elite.
I'm really scared because all the gurus is going to sit and even Father is going to dance with me.
From the dressing room, Father Saju gives final instructions.
Sound system আছে না নিচে sound systemer পাশে একটা ওই দেয়ালে আছে.
But before the show starts, the volunteer from Switzerland also has to dress for the occasion.
Wow, wonderful! Look really, you are a Bengali gentleman now.
Father, today tea is downstairs.
Then the audience starts to arrive. The visiting dance teachers and gurus open the festival. Father Saju and various dance groups present their work. The highlight of the evening is a performance by Father Saju's own teacher, Professor Chandrasekhar, a highly respected guru who is now 80 years old. The evening is a triumph for Father Saju and his dance center.
It took place with the grace of God as we wanted to take it place. And I feel so peaceful and so happy and excited within.
Souvenir snapshots of this important evening.
One, two, three.
The next day, the dancers meet for lunch at Father Saju's. But the priest himself doesn't have any time. He's already planning his next tour. He needs to promote his Kaladaya Center abroad to raise money for its development.
It needs many more people, many more generous hearts to make this heart of art really vibrate with art.
Father Saju is a tireless dancer and priest. In 10 years, he says, his center will be part of a university. And he himself will never stop dancing the Bible.